With 20 years of experience, he is one of the leading experts in Finland in the field of future skills, motivation, digital learning, and gamification in education. He holds degrees in teaching, psychology, and leadership, and have written several books about leadership and growth mindset. At the moment, he is working at a spin-off company of University of Turku, Finland, called EduTech. His topic would be the information and communication technology in education for social behavioral change through gamification. I request you to please come on.
Psychology background, and in learning I really believe in social learning, and I believe in dialogues. Learning happens between people. It's not only happening in your brain, it's happening when you are communicating with the other person or with your group. That's why, that's one takeaway. Always when you teach, try to arrange situation where your students can talk to each other about their insights and learnings and takeaways. Not only one way, many ways when you want to have good learning. It's also about atmosphere. You want to create a good learning culture or learning event or lecture lesson for your students. Also about atmosphere. What is the atmosphere when we are learning? That's why next I want to show you a video. It's a video from Finland. I will give you, at the beginning of my talk, I will give you 10 minutes Finland education course. So in 10 minutes you will learn all about Finland education. But first we will start the video. Take a nice posture, enjoy the video, 4 minutes video. The main idea is to calm you down. You are living in mindful country, you know all about mindfulness. It's an important for learning. Already you have got a lot of different information. Now we will make space and room for new learning by calming our mind down and enjoying at the same time this beautiful video of Finland. atmosphere is so different. How many of you are feeling better after having that short discussion with your person next to you, also watching? How many of you are feeling better now? Feeling and emotions are really important. They have a really important role in learning. They have done a lot of studies, psychology, about learning and emotion. 2 takeaways for you for the classroom. Use mindfulness in order to calm kids down. I always do. I've been a teacher for 25 years. Kids are really wild nowadays. You need to calm them down. Otherwise, there is no point try to teach them. Other thing is use different ways to create positive feeling and positive emotion. Because there is a lot of studies and also adults learn better. Makes more room for learning for your brain. Couple of things. My agenda today will be, I will first talk about Finland education. Then I will talk about different challenges that I see in education. And then I will give some solutions for how we have solved things in Finland regarding of those challenges. But let's talk about a little bit more about Finland. So, in Finland, if you don't know, its location is between Sweden and Big Russia. This is a famous guy everywhere. I think he as well. All kids love it. If you didn't know, Santa Claus comes from the north of Finland. So be always ready. He's always watching who's naughty and nice. If you wanna do business with Finnish people, sauna is the place. Sauna, how they say it in America. Finnish people use sauna to warm up, also chat, and also do business. We are quite aloof, maybe, from other people's point of view, but when you get Finnish people to sauna, then we open up, start to talk. That's the place where we do business. If you have opportunity to try this is hardcore thing. So our lakes are frozen half of the year, and people love making a hole, and then after sauna, go to swim there. I have done it twice, hardcore. My wife is from Australia, but she loves doing this every week. I'm not that hardcore. Our cities, they are really quiet during summertime, because we love to go to our summer cottages. So you can't find a Finn. If you want to find them, you need to go to the countryside and go to find them, summer cottages. And you saw Northern Lights in this video. 6 months of the year we have darkness. But luckily, sometimes we get Northern Lights that are optimistic. Then the question, what do you know about Finnish education? Have you heard anything about education in Finland? PISA ranking is one thing what made us famous. We reformed our education 30 years ago, and it has led to good PISA results. Happiness is one thing. Just recently, a couple of weeks ago, Finland was ranked the happiest country in the world, 4th time in. Education, yes. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know about that. If you ask from Finnish teachers, they don't agree with you. But yeah, comparing maybe. Yes. We are famous about our education. There are some fundamentals. Okay. And I don't want to compare Indian culture is different. You cannot change your education system in one night. I don't want you to do it. I want to share a couple of ideas, and maybe you can get some insights and then put something into action, take some takeaways. But you cannot change the whole system. Some countries try to do it. We have done that for 30 years. And it works for our country. Our country is small. We have only 6 million people. It's really different to India. So that's why you cannot always compare which one is better. Our education is free at all levels. That's how it's structured. We have only one private school in Finland. It works for us. Teachers are really autonomous. They have master degree. That's one decision what our government did 30 years. There is some benefits, and there are pros, there are cons. Well, our education is compulsory until age of 18. And then the latest thing is, what is also my background, or where I'm coming from, digital learning field. We have advanced learning environments and technology. Not only technology, but the whole, like the atmosphere, how we run schools, and also like how we structure, how we design schools nowadays. Really put effort. All the colors. So we try to use all senses of learning. That's why, for example, I use music. I use my speech. I use mindfulness. It's all about when we want to learn well, we need to use all the different senses, not only visual senses, not only talking, hearing senses. A typical school day, this is something, this is a big wish for me. I hope that all the countries learn from Finnish education. But it's not easy. I know cultures are different. Our kids don't spend much time at school. They don't stay there for the whole day. They start sometimes 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, sometimes even at 10 a.m. Lessons are normally 45 minutes. And we have breaks. Really important for your brain. You have time to talk to each other. You go to playground, you play, you talk, socialize. I don't think that best way in schools is that we are passive there. Someone is talking and sharing all his knowledge, and the other ones are passive and listen. I think the best thing in schools is social learning. There is time to communicate, discuss, having dialogues, etc. That's really important. That's why I wanted you to talk to each other, get that takeaway. Do that with your students as well. Create that culture in your school. There is time for kids to talk to each other. That's the best way to learn. And we have free lunch school as well, and it's really important. That was good decision from our government. So we know that all kids really help. Maybe not from your point of view, but Finnish standards help. Not as good as here. After school, there might be daycare for first and second graders, but mostly there are some hobbies. But what is important for us is that kids don't spend too much time on schools. We go home, there is homework. This is that people always ask something. Is it true that Finnish kids don't have homework at all? No, it's not. They have homework, but not 3 hours. Might maybe take 30 minutes. For my son, who is 9, normally take 50. But I know, for example, in China, there might be 3 or 4 hours. Then you don't have time to play with your friends, spend time with your family. I think that's the purpose of life. Having time with your friends, having time with your family. Not filling all the time with homework and school stuff. Especially, mostly about memorizing, rote learning. I don't remember all the I needed to learn all the Finnish rivers and even Indian rivers. But I don't remember them. I didn't learn them when I went. I use Google if I need to know that. So you don't need to remember that kind of information for that much. That's why we need to also change what we learn and how we learn it. A little bit about my background that you understand when I start to talk about digital learning as well. So I come from one of the biggest and oldest universities in Finland. It's called University of Turku, Finland. We started to research gamification and digital learning already 20 years ago. There was a professor, Mikko Jussi, who realized that learning will change. And students don't get motivated and engaged for learning that well anymore. We need to create new, more active learning methods. And that's why the research group started to research gamification and digital learning. And 20 years ago, here we are. Our platform, Eduten platform, is the most popular platform in Finland. We already have users in 50 other countries as well. And here in India, we have many users. But that's my background. I'm global head of partnership. I travel around the world to see students and see classrooms, help them to learn from something from Finland and also start to use our digital learning. We collaborate with UNESCO, have a big mission. So we won a UNESCO prize and now we collaborate with UNESCO. Our platform was rewarded, got the best digital learning platform award. Yes. And also we collaborate with UNICEF. Recently, last summer, UNICEF rewarded us to have the best digital learning platform in the world. And the reason for those awards is we have done so much research around the world. So we really want to know different active learning methods, also how gamification works in different countries. But let's go to some challenges. For the past 6 years, I have traveled around the world. I go to different countries. I see the couple of same challenges and phenomena. By the way, this is my son. And he has some of those challenges as well that all the students around the world have. And that's the common problem that we face at the moment among students in the classroom. What do you think students and kids around the world love to do nowadays? What they didn't do when we were kids? Not that much. What's the thing what all kids love to do? They love games and YouTube. They love. Do you know why they love that? Because their brain gets dopamine. And we cannot blame them. If you are really honest, most of you like to take your phone now, go to Facebook, or do something else. Read magazine, digital magazine. We love doing it, but it gives dopamine before. Same for kids. And it creates some challenges, screen time challenges. But one thing what we easily go to that black and white thing, that screens are bad for kids. Not always. There is negative screen time and positive. And we realized that, our research group, that somehow we need to adapt learning to that phenomenon, what is happening. That there will be phone, device, games. We cannot only resist that. We need to adapt it. That's why digital learning needs to be integrated somehow to learning. But there needs to be good balance. We saw what happened during Corona. All the teaching in many countries, not in Finland. I'm happy with our government. We didn't But we are a small country, so it was easy. We didn't go to remote learning. Especially small kids went to. We took that risk. Good risk. But in many countries you couldn't do. For example, here you couldn't do it. Your population. But we saw what happened when everything went online. There is huge learning gaps. Somehow we need to try to solve that. But it's like my son loves playing games. These are some challenges, not only because of games and devices, but also what has happened to others. One thing is lack of motivation towards hard work. As I said, we need new, more active learning ways. We need to create new methods. Exam stress is one. And then concentration and engagement. Even though I'm coming from the most popular digital learning platform, I'm worried about screen time. I'm expert in psychology. I'm looking from that point of view. A little bit worried about kids. And it has influence on brain. I have taught kids for 25 years. I have seen the difference, the change. If you're talking about traditional education, there are a couple of things. One way flow of information from teachers to students. We need to have more dialogues, that's my opinion. That's the social aspect of learning. That, as I already said, learning happens between people, the middle of people, not only from one head to the other. Communication and dialogues are a good way to do it. Siloed learning. Students don't share learning or interact with each other. That's important for us in Finland, for me as a teacher. So, according to latest studies in motivational psychology, it's good to understand, in order to motivate students to learn, will somehow fulfill these elements. Those three elements, they are the most important in motivation-wise. So autonomy means that students can choose whether they want opt-in or not, and they need to make their own choices as they proceed through the learning. So we need to give some options every now and then. Not as a teacher that you always decide what the students need to learn. Ask their opinion. What you would like to learn today? It's something what is really current topic. They might have heard about ChatGPT. They want to learn about that. For example, in our digital platform, you can choose the challenge level. Sometimes kids want to the hardest level. Sometimes they want to do a little bit lower level. You want to keep that autonomy to make decisions about your own learning. Mastery means that the student masters different exercises. They need to get that feeling. They need to somehow give that feeling of success every day. It's coming about instant feedback and positive feedback. Of course, constructive. But we need to try to give feedback for them all the time, that they give that feeling of mastery. I learned it. I succeeded today. That's important in order to keep the motivation. And purpose, really important. Something about the video. How many of you like the video about film? Some of you like the video. Okay. Did you know? You didn't know, but now you will know. The person who did the video was 70. He spent 30 days in a row, 15 hours per day, by just photography. It was time-lapse video. It's really boring. You just do the same thing. But did you know he didn't like studying. He was really poor. He didn't like to listen to teachers, just be passive. But he was passive 15 days, 15 hours per day. There was a purpose. He wants to be a really good photographer and wants that people around the world can see how beautiful is Finland. And we need that purpose. So in order to motivate students, in order for them to learn, there needs to be purpose. I didn't learn all the rivers in Finland or all the rivers. It didn't make sense. But now I come to India. I want to know everything about this culture, but not 40 years. So can you see the difference? There is purpose. So it's important to talk with your students about why do we learn? Why do we want to learn this math skill or this topic? Okay, you go for shopping. You want to buy candy. You need to know how much you have money, how much it costs, how much you have left after that. Can you afford to buy that? Then there is purpose. So always think about, when you motivate students, that they need to understand why we do this. Then one challenge is exams. I felt that 30 and 40 years ago when all the mornings when I knew that there is an exam, I didn't want to wake up. And I know about India. You have this big screen. I know what happens those days when students get the results. Really important. By the way, do you know what's happening in this picture? Do you know what's happening in this picture? Can you see the picture? There is exam. They are doing the exam. It's a bit different than traditional way of doing exam. First of all, look at the environment. They are doing this is a classroom in Finland when they are having it. They use it, they feedbacks. They're using their laptops. They are using our platform to do the exam. They are playing our games. They have that kind of exam. Quite different to that traditional way of doing exam. And the future, we have started to use digital learning now. There is a big opportunity that really influence on that stress. Because we don't need that many exams anymore, and we get learning analysis. So platforms can follow students' progress all the time when they are using it and submitting exercises and playing gamified exercises. So that's a good future. That will really reduce stress when we don't have that. And when the exams are different, not that stressing. By the way, I started 5 minutes later, so I will take 10 minutes, I double that, from your tea time. But no worry, you will have time for tea. Okay. Then some solutions about those, more solutions about those challenges what we are facing. There is always, of course, concern. We were already talking about screen time and the use of digital learning, ICT in classroom. And we know what happened during Corona, as I already. Learning gap increased, etc. Also, ICT might lead to more siloed learning. I mean that there is no that social learning aspect. The students just focus on their screen, their device, don't communicate and interact with other students. But at the same time, it's huge opportunity. And we realized that many, many years ago, that when you develop digital learning, there needs to be this social learning aspect as well. There needs to be this dialogue learning. I really emphasize that dialogue learning. encourage you to use that. Don't need digital learning tools for that. You can just give some topic for students and let them to discuss about it today, or put them in the pairs. But also, some digital learning tools, they have that function, that students can work in pairs. That's the thing what we develop. So we have a lot of problem-solving, math problem-solving exercises. In Finland, problem-solving is really a big part of curriculum, Finnish curriculum. Also computational thinking, because our experts see that it's really important part of future. You need to be able to solve problems. You need to be able to have computation and coding skills. But you can solve problems in pairs. How we do it, mostly in classrooms, is that a little bit advanced student work in pairs with some students or some student who is a little bit behind. So we could put good student and a little bit less talented student together. And mostly the better students teach how to solve some problem. And they both learn really well. So there is this dialogue learning aspect in best digital learning, as long as you remember to use it. Then how ICT supports social and behavioral change. As I said, there can be, the best technology can offer support for collaboration, communication among students. So always when you start to look at digital learning, look at the aspect of it, because that really helps kids to learn. If it's siloed learning, if they only focus on their own screen, sometimes it's fine. And at home, if they do use digital learning at home, it's fine. But then sometimes it's good to talk with your parents. They are ready to do that. But the good thing in digital learning nowadays is we can personalize learning for students. If you have 50 students here and you don't use digital learning, it's not easy to personalize. All the kids will get the same exercises. But from a psychological point of view, it's not best for the students. Best students get bored because exercises are not challenging. When we are looking at from motivational aspect, exercises and all tasks needs to be challenging, but not too difficult. But if you get too difficult exercises, the students who are behind, who are struggling with mathematics or some other subject, who has learning difficulties, they suffer as well. They start to hate mathematics or other subjects. That's why it's good when you use digital learning, because you can, and ICT, you can offer personalized learning paths. Couple of more. I know that I see that you're getting a little bit nervous there because time is running. 6 more minutes, then everybody will get a nice tea break. And by the way, when you go to the tea break, what are you going to do there? Dialogue learning. So you will talk to each other about my talk now or other talks as well. What have you learned? There's no point to come here. You don't find any takeaway. So Monday morning, when you go back to school, I will call you and ask from your students, what did your teacher or your school leader took from the Makke's presentation? Did it influence on the teaching at all? If not, it was pointless to come here. We need to put things into action. Yes, concentration and engagement. Gamification is a good tool. As I said, kids love playing games. That's why try to gamify something what happens in a classroom or in your school. There can be leaderboards, give scores for them, etc. Use gamified platforms as well. That's the easiest way to do it. But that motivates. We have done more than 100 academic studies around the world. And we know that when students start to use gamified learning elements and gamified platforms, their engagement and motivation really increase. And therefore, there is a huge learning impact. And that's why we go to school, learning impact. But also, if you use digital learning, that's the number one thing what you need to look at. Is there learning impact or not? There's no point to do things if there is no learning impact. But it's coming from engagement and motivation. And you remember the challenge number one. It was that students don't do hard work anymore. For example, I don't know about other digital learning tools, but I know from our research, when students start to use our platform, they calculate 8 times more. And it's not rocket science. They are just more motivated when they play our learning game. So, some outcomes of ICT and gamification. So, motivation. Also, improved academic performance. Then, gamification also promotes positive social and behavioral change in the classroom, because it's a feeling that they are doing something really modern. Even sometimes you can use Finland, say that this is developed in Finland, and in this platform there is the best practice of Finnish education, or something else. But yeah, really motivates them when they are more active. Active learning is the other thing that I want you to remember from this lecture or presentation. I have already talked about our platform. Yeah, our platform is personalized and collaborative learning platform. I know that you want to get your tea break soon and talk to your colleagues and share all the ideas. And here's coming the summary of my. We started with some challenges what we face now in education. One is that we need to find more active learning ways to help students to get motivated. Motivation is everything. Coming from the word motivera in Greek word, what means that you are moving to somewhere. You are moving towards learning. Our solution in Finland is that we use gamification as a part of the solution and gamified digital learning. That's only one solution, but that's what I want to share here. Then is exam stress. That's a huge challenge for learners. And I know all the suicides, what happened those days. I hope that we can somehow in the future face the world. Learning analytics is one answer for that. We don't need that many stressful exams in the future when we can get real-time learning. We can all the time when students are doing something every day from school level, management level, we can follow different different classes, how do they perform, what is their challenges, what is the, do some kids have learning difficulties. And then we can develop things according to those analyses. So we don't always need that many exams. But it's not that easy to change the whole level exam culture. And then social learning and small dialogues. That's the main point what I came here all the way from Finland, wanted to come here to share with you. Because that's easy to put in the classroom, in all schools in India. Arrange those small dialogues between students. Ask questions. I have studied coaching psychology. It's all based on questions. Ask questions. What did you learn today? What was your insight? What are you going to put into practice? How do this information will change your understanding and your action tomorrow? And also, if you use digital learning, use that pair function where students can work in pair and talk to each other and have that dialogue as well. Thank you very much, and come to talk to me or Mr. Avan. We are here both today. if you want to ask more about questions about our platform or anything from Finnish culture and education. Thank you very much, and especially thanks for one more thing. I don't know, have you realized, but you have really focused on this, my talk. I'm really appreciating. But I don't think it's only because my presentation was interesting. I think it was the tool at the beginning. Talk to each other, and then the other thing, always have to show those videos or music for students, calm them down, then they are able to focus on that work today really well. Thank you very much. Big applause.